It's time now for the Kill the Can podcast.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kill the Can podcast. Going to do something a little bit different here this afternoon. I'm going to go and I'm going to respond to some YouTube comments. And I'll do it directly kind of on the podcast. I will probably pause and then, type out my response within YouTube. But I'm going to kind of see if I can do kind of a little combination of doing some responding to some social media and then also knock out a podcast episode. Some of the comments and questions that I get on my social media feeds, I think would be really beneficial for podcast listeners. So I thought maybe I'd be able to kind of kill two birds with one stone here. So let's see how this works. And if it doesn't work, we won't do it again. So the first comment is from Dave Smith 228, and he says, I haven't dipped all damn day and I really want to now. And that is, anybody that has quit completely understands that that desire, especially early in your quit, to go back, especially those first few days. Those first few days are brutal and we all know about them. And all I can tell you, Dave, is keep pushing forward. Going back at this point now that you've quit is not going to solve anything. You got this, man. Really good question here from James. He says, Kill the Can, I'm hoping you'll respond to this. Do Zins mess with my gum line like dip? And if so, does it do it as fast? So, James, I was never a Zyn user. I actually quit before Zyn became a thing. So I can't answer this from any sort of personal experience perspective. What I can tell you is, I think it's very fair to say that putting anything between your cheek and gum, right on your gum line, has a potential of causing some irritation. I think, and again, I am not a doctor, so take this with a grain of salt. I would imagine that if you're looking for a comparison between traditional nicotine pouch products or smokeless tobacco products and a product like Zyn, I think the comparison that you would be looking at would be more towards a Skull pouch, a Skull Bandit, any of the traditional pouch products versus smokeless tobacco dip products that are not in a pouch. Are you going to have irritation there? And is it going to mess up your gum line? Maybe. I would suggest that using anything, you might get that irritation. Appreciate the question. Next comment is from Monkey Man, and it's actually he was responding to the video of the live roll call from the Pennsylvania meet that we posted to YouTube. And he said, I quit Zyn. I have some slip ups sometimes, but I try my best, and that's all that I can do. And this is a tough one for me because I understand how hard it is to quit. I was there, but this one sounds to me like a little bit of addict speak. This one sounds like, well, I'm going to give my quit a try. And if I go back to the can, no big deal. I did my best. And that to me really sounds like addict speak. And it goes really against everything that we stand for at Kill the Can. Nicotine cessation, quitting dip is not something that you can do a little bit. Just the way you can't be half pregnant, you can't be half quit. Quitting Zyn and having Zyn every now and then is certainly better than using it all day, every day, but you're not quit, right? You have slowed down, you've cut back your consumption. And the reality is that just like with dipping, every time you reintroduce nicotine into your system, you're back at day one. and you're going to have to go through any of those withdrawals that you've gone through. You're going to have to do it again, because when you reintroduce nicotine, you're kind of resetting that clock. Appreciate the question. I'm actually really glad I got this next comment. So this was a comment that was left like a year ago on one of my videos, and Gosha said positive ASL, nice. And I responded with a question mark, because when you are my age, ASL is old school, like chat room speak for age, sex, location, right? You would go into a chat room, and the first thing that you would say was ASL, and everybody would list, hey, I'm a 16-year-old male from Virginia. I'm a 25, whatever it was, right? And so I had no idea what that was. And so that original comment was a year ago from Gosa, and just a couple days ago, Swavey responded, and he or she said the Gen Z ASL meaning is as hell. So I think what they're saying is that my message or my video was positive as hell, which I really appreciate. I appreciate the compliment, and I appreciate Swavey for responding to me and letting me know actually what the hell that meant. So I appreciate it. Also, Swavey said currently 12 hours nicotine free, which is awesome. Congratulations. Keep up the great work. So this next one, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to give it a try, and I'm not going to know if it works until I listen back to the podcast. So if it doesn't work, I apologize. But basically, this one is a comment on a YouTube video. In the YouTube video, I am answering the question, is Zyn or on nicotine pouches a safer alternative? And first, I'm going to try to let you listen to my response, and then I'll read you the response to my response. Safer than what? Are they safer than using real tobacco? Yeah, they are. Are they safer than using tobacco-free, nicotine-free alternative? No, they're not. The problem with these products, Zyn and On, they contain nicotine. And the reality is we are nicotine addicts. And so until you completely remove the nicotine from your system, regardless of the delivery method, you're not going to be able to really gain your freedom. That makes sense. Appreciate the question. So I have no idea if you can hear that, but basically I said, are they safer than using the real thing? Yes, they are. Are they safer than using other tobacco-free and nicotine-free alternatives? No, they're not. And this particular user responded and said, thank you, man. You're 100% right. And I appreciate that comment, because you would be shocked at how much negativity I hear in my social media comments, to the point where I wasn't even sure that I would ever do a podcast like this, because there's just so much negativity. And but I figured I would give it a shot. So I appreciate a little bit of positivity every now and then. So this next comment came in literally just now as I'm recording this podcast, and it is in response to a video I posted about alpha nootropic pouches, which is a fake dip, nicotine-free, tobacco-free alternative. And the question in the video was, how many pouches come in a can of alpha nootropic pouches? The commenter, Sifkill, says, is it safe, and is there nicotine in them? And the short answer is yes, they are safe. No, there is no nicotine. There is no tobacco, which is the same thing, the same answer with every single product that I review, not only on the site, on the podcast, on social media, on YouTube, what have you. I never try a product that contains nicotine or tobacco. They are safe. The caveat to that is, as I mentioned to a previous commenter, I think it's probably fair to say that putting anything in between your cheek and gum may cause some irritation, but that's true for anything. That could be true for a cotton ball, for gum, for sunflower seeds, what have you. But in the context of this particular question, are they safe alternatives? Yes, they are absolutely safe alternatives. All right. Next comment is from Diesel Outlaw Truckin'. He says, first day of cold turkey and I ain't doing so hot. Brother, I hear you. Cold turkey, while it's the best way to quit, in my opinion, it can also be the most difficult. And those first couple of days are absolutely brutal. Anybody that has ever gone through a nicotine quit understands that those first 3 days are terrible. In fact, we've got an article on the site called What to Expect When You Quit Dipping. And I'll just read it to you. Day 1 through 3, pure hell. You will walk in the fog. Nothing will seem real. Your brain is wondering where the hell its fix is. And is it going to punish you until it comes up? 72 hours. That's all you need to get the nicotine out of your system. This is where you start to deal with physical withdrawal associated with quitting dip. Drink lots of water, read and post. Don't take your anger out on loved ones. We'll always tell everyone, make this quit about you. I hear you, man. I'm telling you, push on through that day one. It sucks, but it is 100% worth it. You got this, man. Next comment is actually a response to one of my comments, and it's on this video that I posted a couple of years ago called "Sorry Your Boyfriend is Addicted to Zyn." And it's funny, I think for some reason there are some videos that I post that get more comments and more antagonistic comments than others. But this one says, addiction can be easily fixed. You just need to know how the brain works and how dopamine acts. And on first glance, that comment reads to me like somebody that doesn't understand addiction at all or has never been addicted to something. And that was kind of my initial kind of gut reaction. I guess on further reflection, I think it might actually be an accurate statement to say you just need to know how the brain works and how dopamine acts, and it actually can be easily fixed. I think what that forgets, or what that doesn't point out, is how difficult it is to enact those changes that makes beating an addiction possible. I guess this is kind of, it boils down to when I say quitting is simple, but it's not easy. And so I guess I would agree with this comment in that it is simple to fix it. It's very, very difficult, though, to actually put those things into action. All right, this next one actually goes to show the power of AI and the power of how platforms like YouTube and Rumble and social media platforms can help to connect and to reach a bunch of people. So this one is in response to a video I posted on YouTube called "What's Wrong with Nicotine Alternatives Like Zyn or Rogue and Why Don't You Suggest Them?" And the comment is actually in Spanish, and so I'm going to use YouTube's translation feature. And he says, "My respect to you, my friend. In reality, you are completely right. It is not an option to give up cigarettes for Zyn. The only thing people do is replace it with another addiction that makes you relapse to the same thing. You leave one addictive habit for another." And assuming that the translation from Google is correct, and I have no reason to believe that it's not, he's spot on. Trading one addiction for another is what you're doing when you're replacing one product with another. This is why we always say, you can't go from, this is the big argument that I always make when we're talking about nicotine gum or Zyn or these kind of things, right? It's like, this would be the same argument as if I'm an alcoholic and I say, yeah, you know what? I drink Jack Daniels, but I'm going to quit. Well, meanwhile, I've changed to Miller Lite. I haven't quit. I've just changed my delivery method. And that's exactly what this guy is saying. Appreciate the comment. All right. And this is going to be the last one. I'm going to end the podcast with this one. There's actually a boatload of comments on this same video. The video is on YouTube. It's I quit after 10 years of a can per day grizzly habit. And this is me basically congratulating somebody after quitting after 10 years. And I'm just going to read through some of these comments here, and then I'm going to kind of quit the podcast and go back and respond to these. But basically, so the first response is I stopped buying weed, started to save money. I got so much cool shit and money left over. I'm pulling 20s out between the seats. And I'm not sure if this comment is a joke. I think it's actually for real though. But he's right? When you quit these addictions, when you quit chewing, when you quit using Zyn, when you quit smoking cigars, what have you, you will be shocked at how much money you're not spending on your addiction. In fact, there is a calculator on the website, KillTheCan.org/calculators, I believe, that you can actually plug in your quit date, how many cans you were using, and how much it was costing you, and it will calculate for you how much you have saved since you quit dipping. It is an amazing tool. One thing I will say is, let me see if I can pull up here real quick. Yeah, quick calculators. Yeah, so it's KillTheCan.org/calculators. And so if I plug in my quit date of July 24th, 2006, it will tell me I've been free for 6,557 days. And I say, okay, I'm chewing 1 can a day. We'll say it was, and back then it was $5 a can. I know it's way more than that now. So far since I've quit, I have saved $32,785. Now, I wish I could tell you that I've got $32,000 laying around since I quit. I don't, but that just goes to show you how much I was spending on my quit. And I think you will find that, in fact, it's funny. There's been a lot of people over the years that have actually done a really good job of saving that money, and they'll put $5 a day or $5 a week or $10 a week into a can, and then or like a coffee cup or a coffee tin or what have you, and then after a year or two or whatever, I remember there was one guy that bought a boat. There was one guy that bought himself a toy, a car to work on and play with and those kind of things. So you really can see a huge financial benefit for quitting once you do it. There's also a bunch of comments on this thread. Keep up the great work. We quitters are here with you. I quit smoking and I can't, it was an amazing accomplishment. Doesn't matter what the substance is. It takes a lot of strength and commitment and determination to stop using something. Congratulations and keep putting through. Catherine says that fan would have me on the edge at all times. The fan that she is referring to is over my shoulder in this particular video. I have a very unique fan in my office. I get comments on my fan regularly, actually. T-Boss Bay has an interesting comment. Says, nicotine addiction is worse than drug addiction because it's legal and everywhere. I quit smoking after 30 years, cold turkey, 18 months ago. Anyone can do anything they put their minds to. I think there's a lot of validity to that, to the legality and the fact that this stuff is everywhere. I've never been a drug addict, so I won't go so far as to say that a nicotine addiction is comparable to, some of these really hardcore drug addictions. But I can tell you that the pervasiveness of nicotine in this world, even in a world where smoking isn't as socially acceptable as it used to be, the increase of products like Zyn and on and smokeless products, nicotine is around often. It's everywhere, and it is socially acceptable at this point. And because of that, quitting that addiction can become very, very difficult. Let's see. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and shut this podcast down. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Let me know. Give me some feedback. This is the first time that I've done one of these where I'm responding to YouTube comments kind of live. So let me know. If it's great, let me know. If it sucks, let me know. Either way, I'm honored to be quit with you, and I'll talk to you soon, quitters. Have a good one.
Join us again next time for another edition of the Kill the Can podcast.